This is starting. I think we're starting.
We're starting.
That's how it starts.
Push it with your dick, dude.
It worked!
I am Ray Taylor.
I clearly don't have a regular job.
I was never really into comic books growing up. Like, I was a geek.
You should tell your face that, because you look exactly like
I do.
Watch the fights.
Fuck yeah, I watch the fights.
I'm Keith Spurlock.
I watch every kind of pornography.
I said,
all right, counteract my cancer that I'm giving myself.
Right.
I smoke weed after every cigarette.
What were we just fucking talking about?
And this is the Inspired Disorder Podcast.
I'm not going to allow you to have an opinion on this just because you're wrong.
Is anyone else's podcast about like jerking off and UFC?
Woo! We're talking about roller coasters.
Woo! And Dunkirk.
Known as war, known as Dunkirk. We watched Dunkirk.
Are you done, Kirk?
Are you done, Kirk? Yeah, so we just came out this past Saturday. New movie from Christopher Nolan, written and directed.
Who's that?
The guy that did Memento, guy that did the best DC movie trilogy.
What are those?
They don't exist anymore. He did Inception. He
Never
did.
heard of
Did he do Interstellar? I think he did Interstellar too with McConaughey.
I actually haven't seen that.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So Christopher Nolan, who I first saw, Memento was my first movie of his that I saw, and I was like, holy shit. This is like some of his movies where it's like, man, this is kind of dense. Like Inception. I was gonna go Interception.
The first time I saw Memento late, like I'd already seen a few Nolan films, and my buddy that I used to do comedy with, shout out TJ, he was like, have you seen Memento? I'm like, no. And he had a huge DVD collection. He's like,
Yeah.
you're watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And I got done with it. I was like, that movie is like,
fucking
that's
crazy.
one of those right up my alley movies.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, super weird.
It's
I
like you take
that.
the story from the middle and then you spin it, and it's like, because it jumps from past to like, just, I don't know. It's like the timelines are weird. Some are in color, some are in black, and it fits the story because he can't remember shit. So it's very chopped up.
And it feels very independent too. Like,
oh yeah, that was his second film.
It feels super like he didn't have the money.
Well, him and his brother
to do exactly what he wanted to do, but
oh no, he didn't. He was nothing then.
Yeah,
he was nothing. Batman. When he did Batman was his first huge movie, and then he was able to do like crazy movies that never would have got funded, like Interstellar and Inception. Like, you're not gonna fund those movies unless you're the best, number one DC comic book director ever.
Yeah. Be like, I have an idea for a $200 million movie. They're
like, all right,
what superheroes are in it? He's like, none.
And you
but
don't really.
It's dreams.
Yeah.
And they're like,
and they don't do blockbuster numbers. Like, they never have, but they're always well done. He always gets good actors. Good actors want to work with him. He's one of those good, high level directors that's putting out like different kinds of shit.
Another guy never went to director, like film school.
He never went to film school?
Nope.
Yeah, and I don't know if
just watched a video today of the top 10 directors that never went to film school.
Right.
And he was on the list.
Right. Because I don't know if he still works with his brother, but I know like a lot of them. I think maybe during the Batman series they split and his brother started doing something else. But they were kind of like that brother duo, not as directors, I think as writers, screenwriters. But yeah, so
let's talk about Dunkirk.
Yeah, it was.
I liked it.
I liked it too. It's definitely tonally different from. I mean, it's probably tonally or pacing wise, probably closest to It Comes at Night than any of the movies, because we've been seeing a lot of fun movies, action movies, like very like. Really fun movies, where this is like stressful.
I was stressed the fuck out.
The score in this fucking film is. I love the score, even though I never want to listen to it again.
No.
But It's the most
Impending
unique.
Doom.
Yeah.
Score is
Just like
really good.
Every kind of sound that makes you stressed out is in this.
There
in
was
this
a few
film.
times where I was like, my hand was on my own throat. Like I was like, what am I choking myself? What am I doing here?
Yeah, super intense, and it's like not very low on dialogue, very
There's
slow.
little to no dialogue.
So it's like it's very similar, very different movies, but as far as tone and kind of, a lot of the kind of feel of the movie, It Comes at Night kind of, as far as what we've seen recently.
Yeah.
And parts of like War for the Planet of the Apes kind of, because there wasn't a lot of dialogue in that.
No.
But there was a lot of intense acting in that, which this is way more about the scenario than the people involved in the scenario. But the people involved are like used to tell the story of what's going on in the scenario.
you're not real. This isn't about any of the characters. This is about
it's not a
what
character
happened
study.
at Dunkirk.
Yeah, it's about
And it starts from the very rip.
it starts.
There's no like setup. It's kind of like they give
It's
you.
very similar in a lot of ways to War for the Planet of the Apes, where you're following. It's a different kind of shot, but you're following a group of army people, soldiers or whatever. Like a tracking shot, different kinds of shots, but very similar. And then it's like shit goes down, and we're in this film, and because it's very like peaceful, kind of slow in the beginning
Raining
of this one.
flyers.
Little pamphlets telling you to get the fuck out because we're
We
gonna
have you surrounded.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like it's gorgeous as hell.
Yeah.
Like this, it's like as far as like war films, it doesn't use like. Saving Private Ryan used a lot of like stylized filters and
but
shit.
it also doesn't get as gory as Saving Private Ryan. Like
you don't
it
really
could've-
see
like there's not really a lot of blood. You don't see limbs being blown off, even though there's bombs being dropped on people. Even the guy that was shooting up in the beginning and the bomb dropped, and you see him kind of get blown
they just
into the
kind
air,
of fly out of the way.
But like once it's over, you don't see. It's just
You just
bodies
see
on
bodies.
the ground.
Yeah.
It's not like
it's not gory like
not a guy
Saving
picking up
Private
his own
Ryan.
arm and shit on the beach.
You
and
see
fucking,
half a torso crawling across with his intestines out. Yeah, the Saving Private Ryan in this movie, I would not compare them to.
No,
this movie is so much closer to It Comes at Night than Saving Private Ryan, except for it's a war movie done by a great writer director. But yeah, so we're probably gonna spoil moments of this. I mean.
There's not.
It's really hard to spoil because there's like I don't know names of fucking anybody.
No,
but we're gonna talk about it, and so you could like listen to this and then go see it, or see it and then listen to this, and it probably won't affect much. But know that we might touch on shit that.
I think us just saying that it's not about the characters, it's about that. That's probably the biggest fucking spoiler there was.
Maybe, but that doesn't like ruin plot points.
No,
I mean,
no,
this
no,
isn't a
it
movie that
doesn't.
can be spoiled necessarily.
I don't believe you could.
Like saying like, oh, Tom Cruise is the only guy that lives and finds Matt Damon at the end. Like that kind of fucks up Saving Private Ryan. It's like, oh, Matt Damon. First off, Matt Damon's Private Ryan.
Matt Damon.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks. I think he dies towards the end. I think he blows up that bridge. It's kind of like a Terminator moment. Yeah, and then
Shout out to Miles Dyson.
So it's very much Dunkirk, like war movie. Very little dialogue. Taken from basically three different perspectives.
Yes, it's the
but
beach,
following a few different people.
It's the beach, the air, and
the dock. The dock is the beach. The mule.
And then the last one is the
air and the sea.
The cavalry, pretty much,
pretty much.
where they call it.
Which, if you've seen the trailer, you know that it's like
they're on a beach, they're stuck.
Well, that you see clips of that, but you also see that these regular dudes with sailboats are like going to go out and help them.
Yeah, that's
so you know some of the
and
things
then they also
that are going
show
on.
like some dog fighting, so they do show you kind of everything.
Yeah,
everything. But this movie's shot in three different total perspectives.
Yeah,
that weirdly like.
They all intertwine.
They intertwine, but so you might see the same thing 30 minutes later, but you see it from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Which it took us both a minute to catch on what was going on with that.
Yeah, like there was not only just like going from like, oh, we're in the sea and now we're going to the plains.
Yeah,
it's like we're going to the plains, and it mentioned it in the beginning that there was a time difference, but I was like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't keeping track of all that shit. It went from, like, week to day to hour or some shit. I was like, But then when the movie got going, I saw it's like, oh, this is a different time. Like jump back in time to a different perspective. But yeah, and then they all kind of converge towards the end of the movie. So in that way, it's almost like Memento with 3 instead of just 2 perspectives. It was 3 perspectives.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, and all the different perspectives, like you have the pilots where it's just 2 and then 1.
Well, it was 3.
3, yeah. But
the first one you never really got to know the third guy. He went down. The second guy went down also.
Yeah.
But they're all wearing masks for the most part. You see
Tom Hardy right
Hardy's
off
face
off the mint.
Yeah,
off the jump.
But they make sure to show him.
Yeah.
But then for the rest of it, it's like,
because that's when you fly, you have your, unlike movies where they have their masks off and they're like, oh, we're totally cool up
no,
here.
I know what you're saying, but like that, like
it was done very like, we don't give a fuck. We're gonna show what happens in these moments of this war, this like, not even war, but like this thing that happened during a war.
Yeah.
Like this very like obscure thing where it's not like a crazy battle. It's just it's soldiers. It's the British and French armies and Dutch probably trying to get the fuck out of France. They're
trying to get back to England, and the Germans have them pretty much cornered to the beach, to a small section of the beach.
Yeah, and you'll see it in the trailer where it's like these gorgeous shots of like this fucking cold ass beach with like sea foam blowing all over it, and then people lined up waiting
for
their
a
turn.
boat that might or might not show up.
Well, and showing up is fucking not even the start of it. It's like,
can we
how
make
far
it back?
is the boat gonna get? Is it gonna like
Which
so
we
it's
see
like,
a few boats go down.
You see, like, it follows the pilots. It follows the initial character that survives that opening scene.
Yeah, his patrol all gets killed, but him.
Yeah,
and he finally.
So it's like it's just him scraping to survive the whole movie.
Yeah,
and it's like he like survives this thing, and then he's like put over here and survives that thing, puts over here. It's like a very much like. And he meets people along the way. Some of them survive. Some of them don't survive. A lot of people die.
A lot of people die.
Which is like if you watch like Band of Brothers and shit like that. Like it's
war.
Yeah, it's just war as hell.
Yeah.
And this is like the worst situation because they're like trying to get the fuck out. They're all exhausted. And the British are like, we're first in line. Fuck you all. You can't come on until we're all out of here. So stay here, Frenchies. But yeah, it's like so, and then what was the third one? The third one follows like this kind of grandpa and son,
and one of the son's friends.
Yeah,
they all get on the boat. They were gonna commandeer him, but the grandpa's like, "It's my boat. I'm the captain of this boat."
Yeah.
So he takes off before they can get there real quick.
Yeah,
but he's still going on the mission
because everybody in this part is like with a boat that's good, I guess. The military's, the Navy's commandeering them to go use them because everything's getting blown up. And they need smaller boats to get in closer.
To get to the beach.
Because they only have one. Yeah, so
it's one dock.
There's many reasons why they need them.
On one dock.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the third perspective, which out of the 3 perspectives has like the most like heart to it. Even though we don't really give a fuck. I never really gave a fuck about anybody.
With the officers' dialogue.
Like if we had gotten a little bit more of that aspect, like just a little bit more, like I would have given a fuck when one of the people gets injured. You know, like I didn't really. I was like, when it happened, I was like, okay.
During a lot of the battle scenes, you couldn't. All right, they made a lot of these kids look the same. Brown hair, slender build.
Yeah, but you look at people in the military.
I understand,
especially back then.
But I'm saying like there's definitely points in this movie where it's actiony and I'm fucking fully involved in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know who the fuck this. Like, was that French dude, or was that the English dude, or was that the other guy?
Yeah.
That was with them for a minute, but
yeah.
Like who was that?
You're basically like, it's almost like the movie treats the audience like you're a part of this thing.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't know anybody either.
Yeah.
You know, like the dude became friends with Frenchie not knowing he could speak, not knowing, you know, he was French. You know, there was like, so it's like just a scenario where it's like, oh, you're surviving? let's survive. Let's.
You've helped me survive so far.
A
so
guy
let's-
that we survived together. He's gone, but you're here, so let's go. Let's survive. So it's just like just trying to like every part of this movie is just like survive, and then there's breaks to where it's like the family on the boat, which kind of eases the tension for the most part. It's not
even though
as
the
stressful.
tension on the boat is slowly building.
Yeah.
Where the tension in the other two parts is
You're in
nail
it.
biting from the second.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, you're on the beach. Well, guess what? They're just fucking flying in and
it's
shooting
like
the shit and bombing it.
Every time you think you like, I'm finally off the beach, it's like many times
get fucked
It's
again,
like,
and then,
I'm back on this fucking beach
The fucking beach again.
with different people that I'm surviving with. Yeah, it's I mean, there's not a whole. It's hard to go into detail with this
I
movie
really can't. Like,
because it's just like, it's really like an experience.
yeah.
And it's like when you're the plane scenes when you're up in the air with fucking Bane, amazing, gorgeous, not stock footage bullshit. It's like very simple, very clean. They're not trying to do like any, I don't know, it's very like,
It wasn't Top Gun. It
Just-
was real.
it's
It's
just
like,
gorgeous. Like, yeah, just treating it with respect. Maybe not real, but at least for the scenes, it looked
like
great. You know,
even his character, like literally,
yeah.
like
and he was smart.
I liked
like,
it,
you got to know some of them.
but
He was smart, and
but
like,
he had no personality. He was just a good pilot. That
it's
was
like-
the last one left.
how much, like, if you were flying a plane, how many aspects of your personality are coming out while you're just
that's
in
why I said
battle?
it's not Top
yeah,
Gun.
Yeah. It's
Because-
it's very much a realistic portrayal of these events.
Well,
versus,
like I said when we walked out,
Yeah.
I said that was like a really super badass documentary.
it was, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could cut this movie up with.
If you did a little exposition of
Yeah.
like someone being like,
Yeah.
a narrator being like, and then this was, it's an awesome documentary, and if
Yeah.
but
Which I don't know how accurate it is. It's like
it could be
be completely. It's like
fabrication.
that old man never lived. There was no kid that was in a newspaper. Bullshit. There's guaranteed.
we're looking at you,
guaranteed,
Revenant.
Guaranteed. But I don't care. It's just
No,
the
it's
people
fun.
that
Like,
bitch about
yeah.
it. Like they're watching a history show. It's like it's a fucking movie. But guaranteed there's going to be people who's like, yeah, Dunkirk was cool, but it wasn't historically relevant, so...
It
like,
wasn't historically
like
accurate.
300.
Yeah.
Like, people complaining about... It's like, you understand
There
what
were
300
monsters.
was?
Did you not see the monsters in there?
Do you understand how stylized that fucking movie is?
It's based on a graphic novel
Yeah.
that
Well,
was based
yeah.
on a historical event.
Yeah, which happened a fuck long time ago, so who knows what happened back then anyway. Yeah, but guaranteed there's going to be people whining and bitching about the historical inaccuracies of Dunkirk.
I went to
Unless
the
it's good.
theater and watched the sequel to 300.
Ugh.
Was so pissed when I left there.
Yeah, but it was. But if you
I knew what it was
marketing
about.
more, it doesn't matter. If you knew marketing more, they marketed it as the studio that brought you 300. What does that tell you?
It was not good.
Nobody involved in the original, because they would have been the director, if anything, the producer. But it's like the
Well, it's like,
studio.
I went balls deep into that story afterwards, and like the History Channel used to run like, "Hey, this is like what really happened." So, and then they kind of told about the
yeah,
C
everybody
part,
was like
and it's
trying
like,
to hop on the money
and it was
wagon.
like, "Oh, that'd be awesome to see the C part," and then it was like, "Oh, this
No.
movie's fucking terrible."
Yeah, no, it's just all you have to do is pay attention to the marketing. It's like, why are they marketing the producer? Didn't the director leave? The main actors leave? How? Like, we were watching a bunch of trailers that had like Academy nominated. It's like they'll promote good people that are in
Yeah.
it. But when you're like the studio
The
that brought
studio,
you a
the
cool fucking
producer
movie.
that.
Yeah. But this is
All right, let's go through like we can't really spoil it, but let's go through like what were your high points and low points of all three? Like
all three
Yeah, all three of
the
the points of view.
Points of view. I mean, my favorite part of the movie, aside from like, I almost wish we saw it in IMAX, just because the visuals would have been even better
Yeah.
and sound probably even louder. which would have been fine. I would have been even more stressed out because those are the two best parts of this movie.
Yeah.
I think the shining moments is how visually, because it's mostly a visual experience. You're not really very little dialogue, and the sound track is very much like this is the emotion you're feeling. There's no way with this sound you're going to be calm and cool and like chill with going on.
The score, not
the score, yes,
not
yeah,
the
yeah.
soundtrack.
Yeah, score.
There's no real music,
exactly.
and
No,
which
which is fine.
Just
It
another
would have
heads
been
up,
horrible.
There's no fucking comic relief in this shit too. So
No. Yeah,
if you're expecting like a point of levity,
No. Thankfully, which I think is the perfect thing about for this movie, is that the runtime is 146.
it's super. It's just as long as it needs to be.
Yes.
If
Perfect
it would have went
for the
if it would have
pacing,
went 5 more minutes,
like here's
it
the
would have
thing.
got drawn out.
If this was fucking the Lord of the Rings guy, this would have been a 4-hour long movie.
Yes.
And I would have been asleep.
this would have been
halfway
2
in.
movies, and they would have been 3 hours
Oh my
each.
God. And yeah. And well, yeah. I don't think you're getting. Yeah, he would have. What you would have done? It would have been a trilogy, and you would have followed each of the stories separately. You'd be like, fuck art,
That'd have been 4 movies because they'd have put them all together.
and
at
there'd
the
be
end.
like 10 endings. Because he'd show the end of Dunkirk, then the end of
Or
the,
he'd show what
the
happened
battle,
to
then
Tom
the
Hardy.
end
He'd
of
show what happened
Well,
to
no, it'd be like-
Cillian Murphy. He'd show.
It'd be to the end of the Dunkirk thing. Then it'd be like, oh, what happened in that region of the war, and then oh, what happened at the end of the war, and it's like, oh, what happened at the end of the movie, and it shows him like finishing the edit, and it's like this scrolling.
Then
thing.
Then you cut to the grandpa dying and something. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, what happened? And then there's just a hobbit just in
Yeah.
a bed too. It's like, is he in the
Gandalf
hospital?
walks in and just goes,
Smoking weed. Yeah. So my top moments out of the 3, we'll do top and low.
All right.
Clearly, because easily the low moment, which I just thought was like, just how it happened, or I don't know the way it was edited, but it was just like weak as I don't know. It was just okay. Was when the scuffle happens on the boat.
You don't
and
really
the
see what
kid-
happens to
and
the
then
kid.
it cuts to kid laying down in the bottom of the
yeah.
inside of the boat, and then it's like, and you see a pipe there, and it's like, okay,
Did
I
he
know what
hit, like-
happened. I just
Why couldn't
assume.
we have seen that?
I know. Well, it's
I
just like I think it's a very much a movie that didn't want to show you any gore.
What is it rated? PG-13?
Yeah, because
Well,
it doesn't show. I mean, it's like a super dramatic
Wait, was
movie.
Saving Private Ryan an R movie?
I mean, I can
Look it up because I want to know because
should
they got
be,
away.
but
They got away with so much
you
fucking
can get away
gore.
if there was boobs in Saving Private Ryan. It probably would have gotten R. I mean, it might be R. It should be R.
I would think, but I just like that's the only thing I could think of for them not showing that.
But it's a movie that doesn't show you any of that stuff.
Ooh, привет.
Because it doesn't show you any gore. It's not a fucking gore fest movie, you know.
Saving Private Ryan, the top one. R, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
that
makes
that
sense.
makes sense. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the weakest part because it was just like, it was, instead of showing us some moment that makes me care about these people, it's just like, it's the reason why they added a kid to the Revenant. It's like, we need a reason to care. These are the sympathetic, kind of just innocent people, aside from all the, the soldier ants that are out there getting killed. It's like, these are kind of the heart of the movie. And it's like, this is supposed to give them more, stakes are involved. And he has to make a choice where it's like to go back. It's like, at no point did I ever think he was going back to save the kid.
No,
it's just like, he is on this thing to go to this place and help these people, which is what the movie's about.
Yeah.
They're not going back and then it's like, oh, now they're back in England. And it's like,
hope everyone got
so
off.
that was the weakest moment overall. The movie, that whole just scenario was like, okay, it's like I didn't. It's like, okay, it was just it was weak, considering how like stressful this whole movie was. Like that moment just was like, pop, pop, oh no. Favorite moment with them. I mean, it had to have been, man. trying to think. With them, my favorite moment. Jeez, there's no real highlights. It's really hard. It's tough to think of
it's a
highlights.
tough one.
Well, what would be what would be your low
for the grandpa?
Yeah,
and
for the family.
I agree
What
with
was your
you
low?
on the whole. They just
That scenario,
kind of
that scene.
omitted that it's like.
I mean, they
slight
didn't show
scuffle,
it. They didn't show it,
and then all of a
It's
sudden
fine.
it stops, and you're like, "Oh, the one
Even
kid's
if
laying
they
on the ground."
showed his head hit the pipe, that scene is not good. Like the scuffle, and then he you don't hear him fall down the stairs.
No, it was just.
It's just like there's a lot of problems with that scene.
What happened?
It's not that they didn't show his head make impact with anything. I didn't care. It could have just been from the floor. And he cracked his head open. I don't know. You fall from whatever. You land on a fucking joist or some shit. It's pretty hard. So it's like, I don't know. That I didn't give a shit. He hit his head on something. He's not doing good. But it's like the whole scuffle that led up to it is like,
I think my favorite part of that one was of the grandpa and kid on the boat. So when the plane crashed.
It's kind of how they just went to work and they're like, let's do this shit.
This was like right after that situation.
Yeah.
And then, but we didn't see it again until like 20 minutes later because we got it on the.
We went to another
one which
Yeah.
showed us kind of what happened, and then we went back,
Yeah.
and it shows that they were the boat trailing,
Yeah.
and that they got up
Which
and,
I kinda liked.
saved the pilot,
Yeah.
like last second
Right.
because he couldn't get his slide open, so they
Yeah.
had to crack it with the oar.
Which that's almost blending because that's two
It's literally
stories
scene to
connecting.
scene.
No, but I know it's like, but it's also the moment where this storyline and this storyline
Converge. Yeah.
So that is
I
a cool
liked
moment.
that, and
yeah.
but I liked the heart of the grandpa where like the kid's like, watch the engine,
yeah,
and he was like just, and then you
like,
find
no, we
out
gotta
later
go.
that his son, his
Was
other
a pilot,
son,
yeah.
was a pilot.
Which I guess maybe that scene where like they juke,
Yeah.
you know, and then that you find out
Yeah.
that's how he knew that was going to happen. I kind of like that scene, I guess.
yeah.
kinda
That was all right, but
I don't know.
I thought that
I
was
li-
corny.
probably this-
but I
yeah,
liked
I liked your
the
scene.
pilot scene.
Yeah, that was more like exposition for
Yeah.
like an ability, and maybe some more like, oh, Hart, I already lost another kid.
And they had just saved
Yeah.
like
A bunch of
half
people,
a fucking ship
Yeah.
full of oily.
All right. Yeah, that'd probably be it when they get to that second guy.
Let's go up in the air.
Up in the air, I loved the scene when I think it's the first what was that Skydog dog fight?
Dogfight.
Where
Skydogging it.
Yeah.
Just skydogging it
I was getting
around.
there, skydogging it. Is the dog from Half Baked.
Airbud.
He was skydogging.
It was Airbud.
Yeah, but the dog gets high and he like
Yeah.
can fly, and which is
Killer Bee.
yeah.
Killer.
So it's the scene where like, you know, they're getting engaged, and you know, one guy's got him on his tail, the other guy's behind
He's on
him,
me,
and
I'm
he's
on
got,
him.
He's got
Yeah.
not that scene. It's the scene where he's set up and he's, you know, he's far left. He's like, on my mark, go left.
Yeah,
And then
cut left on
and he's
cut
like,
left on 3,
and he pulls the guy right in front of his
and you're
thing
seeing
and takes him
you're
out.
seeing his view
It's
through
like his heads up
through
display.
the sight,
Yeah,
through
you're
the heads up display.
like almost first person. I
Almost.
think you're slightly off to over his shoulder, but you're not seeing him at all. It's very much just the
Yes.
heads up display, which is very simplistic. It's not like Top Gun and shit where there's
a
fucking.
little bit of Star Wars in that.
No, I think Star Wars probably knew how planes were, and then
No,
they're
I'm
like,
saying,
oh, we
like,
should just.
When they went, he was like going to the heads up, and then he shoots down the hole in the first one, blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah, but you know, I'm pretty sure he got those visuals from Army footage.
Probably.
So it's like Army footage.
I was just saying
it's
that
like this fictional thing that's based on Army
that
footage.
Shot was
It'd be like if we watched sword fighting and we're like, oh, it's like Star
It's like
Wars.
Star
no,
Wars.
it's like fucking sword fighting. It's like, no, it's like World War II shit. But yeah, that was I was like, oh shit, here we go. And you know, it was a quick moment. It's not like a huge setup, but like in that moment, that was probably. And then visually, there was a scene. Actually, you know what? The very end, where he's pumping, and that I enjoyed Visually, that's an amazing scene because it's very tranquil. Because, you know, at the end of the movie, but like audibly, it's very silent. That's probably those two. That moment in that dogfight, and then that end scene, which I don't really want to spoil because I really like that scene.
I do too, and
it was like refreshing. It was almost like
my
cleansing
favorite
watching
one that I'm not gonna spoil either.
Yeah.
But it was like it was towards the end, but it's right before he does your scene.
Right before the dogfight scene?
Right
Right before the tranquil scene? Yeah,
he's pumping the thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like, uh-oh, this enemy plane's coming in.
Right. I know what you're talking about.
And, like, I'll just leave it at that. It's fun. You're like, oh, shit.
It was...
Circle back around.
I enjoyed that scene, too, but it was almost a stretch.
Unbelievable.
Almost a stretch.
No. Almost?
No.
It was a full-on stretch.
Listen.
But that was the part that I liked. I still liked it.
I saw a fucking ferry get cut in half in a movie we saw recently that I had to overlook, which, by the way, I have not heard anybody bring up as a criticism for Spider-Man. Nobody. The fact that a ferry gets cut in half and then it's like, oh, they'll put it together again.
Just pull it back together.
So knowing that, it's like but it's like at the same time, I don't know how high up he was.
Exactly.
So there's that. I'm not a pilot. I'm not gonna. But it's like almost a stretch.
You gotta be able to point
almost
the gun.
a stretch.
It's almost
a
it was
stretch.
Very much stretch, but
Yeah.
I liked it. It was.
But
just,
you could still pull up
because that
You're
was
just gonna
kind of
lose
the
a lot
point of levity.
Yeah.
That was weirdly and throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
The one point of levity.
Yeah. Well,
It wasn't
yeah.
comedic by any means, but it
No.
was one
It
point
was-
of like, oh shit.
But that's kind of how the movie it ends well. It doesn't like the movie is stressful as fuck. And then you get to a point where it's like everything's converging, all the different storylines are converging. It's all coming together, tying up, you know, so and then it ends it doesn't necessarily end well. In some aspects it does, in some aspects it doesn't, but it ends very like tranquil,
knowing
beautiful.
how the end of this entire arc would go if this was you know what I'm
like a Michael Bay movie.
yeah, but
or
I'm
some
saying
shit.
like we know the ending of World War II.
Yeah, but I just want to say like what happens
saying,
to
like,
that pilot
Yeah.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to say because it's a very tranquil moment.
I don't
and
want
then,
to.
yeah,
No, that's
and then,
why I
like,
didn't want to
yeah,
spoil the
like,
one
there's-
that I
there's-
said before that.
Yeah. Or what happens to the kid that we're following? We don't necessarily need to spoil that. You know, that keeps trying to survive. And then as far as the friend, we don't want to spoil that.
Like literally out of like
grandpa.
hey, this isn't the
So,
movie.
okay,
this
so that's-
isn't the movie that I liked
So what
the most.
did you do? Your favorite?
Yeah, I did.
Favorite of the plane? Did you
Yeah.
do your worst of the plane? Did I do my worst of the
We
plane?
haven't done
Okay.
the worst of the plane yet.
What's the worst of the plane?
Worst of the plane.
What was your best of the plane?
Best
Oh,
of the-
that moment.
yeah,
I get
that-
right
the
after the,
other
tranquil
moment,
moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
no, it's
enjoyed
right
that one
before
too.
the tranquil moment.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that tranquil moment actually kind of starts just before your moment,
Yeah.
and then extends peacefully.
So I don't really
ways.
have a worst part of the plane.
I'm trying to think
honestly.
of the plane. Like the only real thing. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, the plane part was almost the
That
best
was
part.
and it was also
I love
used
the-
the least.
I really loved
I
the.
feel like it was used the least.
It
out
was
of
used
all of them.
perfect, but there's not a whole lot you can do. What are you gonna do? He's gonna fucking. There's only a few engagements.
No,
There's already got
it was-
issues.
that's
but
why I
love
said it was
the,
perfect.
I
It
love
was-
the math he was doing
Yeah.
to
He was using his watch.
His fucking
His
gas
fuel
gauge
gauge
was got
broke.
busted early, and I mean yeah. See, I mean, probably, which would be a spoiler, and it's not necessarily bad, but it just kind of bummed me out. Was the end, which I don't want to say, but the very end of. We're
so
talking
your
about
favorite
the pilots
and your least favorite.
They happen
are the
very
same
close.
Scene.
There's a different scene involving fire that happens after my scene, which isn't necessarily part of my scene. I think that's part of because you light a fire, somebody's gonna see it. But that scene's and it's not bad. Unlike the scene with the family where the kid gets hurt, I just didn't like that scene. This scene I necessarily didn't like. It is kind of a bummer, which is fine because this whole movie's a fucking bummer for the most part.
The beach.
But what's your worst? You don't have any?
I really
just
don't.
like mediocre moment for plane.
Maybe how the third plane in the beginning just goes down and they just lost contact, didn't see it, and then flew over, and it's like, oh yeah, that's our
There
buddy.
it is. Okay. Which is
It's
like the most
again.
Yeah,
That's
I get it.
whatever.
Yeah,
Like,
there's not. That's probably.
I didn't have to see that.
Those are definitely my most enjoyable moments throughout
Guy
this
in
movie.
Mask 3. I didn't care about.
Yeah,
so
which you don't really see. It's just I think he was the leader of the squad and he went out first. But yeah, that was okay. All right, so beach, which doesn't always take its soldiers.
Well, it
We'll
goes
go
out on the
retreating
water.
soldiers,
It goes
yeah.
out on the water, but
They do
it's
do
the
find their way
Mole
back.
originally, which is the first ship that's sitting there.
Yeah.
But that's what they called it in the beginning because they called it Air. They called it
the Mole was that
or was
that
it
dock
just the
because
dock?
they talked about when they were talking about but there's a lot of politicking going on, which is almost a different part. It's almost the fourth part. The politics that went on the Mole.
That's the beach. I count that.
Yeah, but
all the
it has
officer
nothing to
talk,
do with the soldiers.
all the officers.
It's separate
talk
from
and
all the
everything.
soldiers, though. That's the thing. It's like there was the guys, the bosses. Then we followed soldiers, which bosses was very minimal. Not a whole lot goes on. It was more like politics of what's
That
going
was
on.
the only time you got any exposition is when it was two officers
Yeah.
talking, and it was like,
And it's very little.
It was very little.
It's just like,
but it was like, what's going on? Like, they're not going to send a shit because they're saving everything for when it comes to
the rest
our
of the
shore.
war. Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, well, they sent out civilian ships.
then
and
that's
he's like, oh, we're all screwed.
But then it's also like the politics of like, we're getting French are second, and it's like, well, what do they think back home? It's like, oh, they think we're all coming home together, and then like how it changes at the
they're
end of the
in
movie.
France.
I know that, but like the politics of where they're getting these boats is that the people okaying the boats thinks that they're fucking getting everybody.
Yeah.
They're not thinking we're just getting the British out of there. They think, oh, we're getting everybody. Well, meanwhile, the reality of the situation is, fuck everybody that's not British. You can't get on this boat, especially the French, which are trying to get the fuck out of there. So it's like politics of kind of the scenario of what's going on. Not more of like plot description, exposition, but very, just like sterile.
But I'm saying that's the only time you really get kind of a grasp of what's going on is when they're talking about it.
Yeah, they kind of, aside from the blurbs in the beginning of the movie.
Besides that,
Yeah.
and then besides the old man
You're pretty
just
much
going,
just
hey, they
in it.
sent us here. To,
Yeah. You just don't know what the fuck's going on.
This has to be fan made because I
I
didn't
think
see
it's
any
from-
fucking steamboats.
I think it's from like the original movie because there's an original
Oh,
Dunkirk.
is there?
Yeah, like back in like
I don't need
the
to know
50s or
about
something?
it, but
I just happened to see it when I was never mind. So I think it might be some of that, but so my favorite or the
beach.
beach or just the soldiers. Man, I mean, there's a lot of stressful moments.
I'll tell you mine.
The which high or low?
My favorite
Okay, what's your favorite?
was them trying to get to that injured man to the boat so they can get on it.
So
He,
their
like,
first attempt.
He
Yeah.
like literally found
Yeah,
a
that was a
guy
good
that's
scene.
still alive.
Yeah.
And the dude that he had just seen like fucking burying a guy and kind of helped him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like just grabs the back end of the stretcher
Yeah.
and they're way behind.
Yeah.
Like and when you watch it you're like, "Oh, they're totally going to get left."
Yeah.
And they get this dude on board
Yeah.
and then they just straight up they're like, "Hey, get the fuck off."
Yeah.
And so these guys have to get off, but then they kind of like
I
stow
know.
away on the
I know
side.
exactly, and there's a few moments. Was that the end of your moment?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was. Well, it kind of went to
I mean, it
how
keeps
they
going.
got onto the next boat.
Yeah.
Which they also went down.
There were a lot of moments with them. That scene where they kind of like they're coming off the boat and then they squirrel down into under
Yeah.
the dock.
I liked that.
And then there's a moment where they're trying to get on a little dinghy, but there's no room in the dinghy, and dude on boat throws a rope that they can hold on to. There was a lot of moments where it's just like they're able to do stuff only because everybody's oblivious to when they're getting
they
on
still
that
were like,
boat.
fuck you.
When they're getting on the boat and the Frenchie just stays on top.
Yeah.
And like nobody says anything, even though he's clearly not supposed to be there. You know, when they're filing
Stop
and he's
locking me underneath.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
But like all of those moments, because there's a lot of them with them where they just
why
slip
would
away.
you close that
They
door
slip
like
away.
that?
I don't care. None of those moments I
I know,
cared about.
but
the fact that
they're
they
all
were
just hitting
so
me now.
easily
I'm like,
to squirrel away.
Yeah.
And like, we just had an argument with these people in the water, and they're like 20 people in a boat, and nobody notices that there's two guys being dragged behind them.
You're like, this isn't
Like-
easy to row. What's going on? We're
But
dragging.
those weren't horrible. They were just moments that allow them to, get away. But every time it was just like, somebody's gonna be fucking an asshole around here. Somebody's gonna be like, what is he doing? He just ran out. It's like, we just saw them squirrel under the. There's two people behind our boat.
The other dude
those,
kind
like,
of
the
called
weak
him out.
thing.
He's like, "Where's your buddy?" And he's like
Yeah.
looking for a way out if something happens. Which honestly, it's not what was originally happening,
I
but that's
think-
how it ended up.
Yeah, which I'm fine with all of that. It's just all the moments where they just like,
The convenience.
we're
of
invisible right
saving.
now. It's just moments where they're basically invisible. Just
Yeah.
like no one sees the guy leave this huge line of people, and there's just one lady where they're going down into the
She
thing.
looks away for a half second, and he just like walks
and
by
it's
her.
just like everybody in the line didn't see that he's the only one not getting shuffled into the interior of a fucking another ship.
Hey,
So
do you want to
those
go
were the
down
only
underneath
moments.
where we're gonna lock you in from the outside
Yeah.
some way?
Those were kind of my like, but not big moments. It's whatever. My favorite scene? Did you go your favorite?
I
with
want
them?
my favorite, and you want your least favorite. So
What
I'll
was
go.
your favorite
I'll
again?
go. My favorite was them squirreling away on the side after they got
them
the dude.
getting the dude to the boat. Yeah,
They
yeah.
got the dude there, and then had to
I
squirrel.
love
up the
that
side.
scene, and then once the squirrel's like, I don't like the scene as much.
Yeah.
And
But then the ship goes down right there.
But then it's like the scene gets better, but it's just like it's very convenient.
Yeah.
It's very convenient a few times in this movie for them to get away. But there's probably other times that were convenient that I didn't. I mean, it's convenient that the dude not only was able to sneak away, but was able to get to the hatch to open it up. You know, that's kind of convenient too.
Yeah.
Like, the one guy that conveniently was able to get out of the single file line was also the only guy to do this thing. But when you're in it, it's like I was in it, but it's just looking back, I guess those were. So what's your weakest?
My weakest for the beach, that would have to be like how, it's weird that it connects right to it, but they blew that boat right up at the dock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why didn't they? I guess in my head, why wouldn't they just circle back around? Just keep fucking blowing up that dock. Like, there was
The planes?
there was like fucking 50,000 dudes. No one's shooting back.
I don't know, but it's like I don't know.
Like, I guess in my
How
head,
they
I was
fought.
like, I don't know.
And
the
if
war
like they
tactics
just
of,
drop all their payload, it's like that's all we got. We got to go back
we gotta
for
go
more.
back, and
So maybe that's it. I thought that they were pretty inaccurate with their attacks. It's like, I mean, they're flying
It felt
pretty
like there was
close
just some
to,
guy in
like-
the back, like,
yeah, I don't. It's like I see it. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna close. 5, 3, 2. Did I get it? I don't know. Yeah. But that's more enemy problem rather than. But I guess it takes part in the beach, or the soldiers. All right.
I think
That
we
was
went-
it?
Yeah, we went through it. Go watch this movie.
Well, what was my favorite? I don't know my favorite for the
beach?
the soldier people. Another problem I had, motherfucker kept trying to take a shit, and then all of a sudden the shit was not an issue.
He never took the shit.
He tried twice, and then it's all of a sudden, let's take this fucking injured dude onto the boat.
Never took the shit.
And then when he got to the boat and he was like going to sit down, I was like, is he going to take a shit on the boat? It's like, I kept wondering when he's going to take this shit. I mean, that would be important, unless he just shit himself. You know,
I
but
would
it's like
assume at that point he
there were two
probably had
moments
to
in the
have shit
beginning of the
himself.
movie where it's just like, I gotta shit, and then shit goes down, and then I gotta shit again.
Well,
Somebody's getting buried.
Yeah, that would. I got to
It's a little
shit.
rude. I can't. I shouldn't be
Can
shitting.
I
next
not
to,
shit?
Yeah.
But in hindsight,
I don't know. It just seemed like it was something that was
kind of
part of
shitting
the story.
during
It was like
grave
at some
robbery.
point it's like adding tension for this
Yeah.
guy because he keeps needing to shit, and at some point he's gonna get somewhere. He's just gonna
There's
be,
nothing worse than having to shit
Yeah.
and having stressful shit happen to you.
Yeah, exactly. It's very but that's my favorite.
I also liked on the beach where it was where they went and got in the boat and were waiting for the tide. Like I kind of liked that.
Right.
Like how that was another one I liked for the beach.
Yeah. That was an interesting scene.
Especially when they started getting shot up.
Yeah. I guess maybe the scene where Frenchie saves everybody.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene. Like
It
just
was.
how it happened.
Yeah.
And he's ready to go, is in the right place, and it's like even when he told him inside, and he's like, "Where's your friend?" He's like, "Oh, he's he doesn't want to be
Yeah,
fucking
that's why
in
I
here."
mentioned that earlier.
And they go
Well, you
like,
said he's
but
looking for
what,
the best.
What do they do? They go right to the door. They're
Yeah.
like, "Let's get the fuck out of this crowd and let's get right by the exit in case shit goes down." So that was a cool scene. I enjoyed that scene. Yeah. So that was Dunkirk.
What do you give it out of 10?
I mean, it hurts the movie that it's not really rewatchable. Like, I watched it, I enjoyed it. Like, it's beautiful. It's a great film. People should watch it. But it's not like Baby Driver, where it's like I immediately want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I'll probably revisit it in like 10 years.
And that's the part about the three different perspectives.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of almost Pulp Fiction up, but they play it in order, but just in
Or
different
Memento.
orders. Or Memento.
But
Yeah. So I wish
Or Inception.
I wish I wanted to rewatch it.
I mean, if it
But-
comes on Netflix or something like that, I'd probably put it on. Like, just on in the background. Because
you'd
it's
be
like
hard pressed to just sit there and pay attention to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Knowing
it's-
how it went.
Unless I wanted to watch
To
it on
break
an
it
edible
down.
or something
Oh,
like that,
yeah,
and
I
just
guess-
get like see how stressed
You
out I
just-
could get.
Break it down in your head, too. At
Well,
least
yeah.
better.
Well, it's like I don't know. I think if I was on it, because I remember
Knowing now that it jumps around,
yeah,
I could have been totally confused with the early parts of it because it may have been a different part that you know what I'm saying?
there were times
Because it just
Where
seamlessly flashed into the net, it was
Yeah,
like,
that-
okay,
the reason it can the one thought
we're an
I
hour
had
back.
that
we're
was
an hour
confused.
ahead.
There were moments where I'm like, is Tom Hardy his son? And it's like there's no way. Like, he's too intertwined. Like, they picked up his guy, so it's like it can't be his son.
No,
but there were
because it's-
moments where I was like, because it was doing
Yeah.
that, and I was like, and I remember there being jumps. And it's like, but how far? Like, maybe his son just died, and it was part of this
Until
an early
the plane
thing.
went down and they got that
and then
dude.
it tied
and
it
you're like,
together.
okay.
Yeah. But there was a moment where I was like, are they mind fucking me right now? Because that doesn't fit very well. They
Am I
pounded
being
that puzzle
incepted?
piece. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even in Interstellar is like, he has dense movies. He doesn't do anything that's like, I mean, the Batman movies are probably the closest thing to it's like, here you go.
Out of 10.
I mean, I give it like a solid, probably like a 9, I guess, or
Yeah,
a
like
high 8.
Yeah, it was like an 8.7 for
I
me.
mean, it'd probably be better if it was.
I shouldn't even say I'm gonna go 8.3 because I liked it. I mean, that's super high anyway.
Sure.
But I mean, again, no character development, even though that's part of the
Not
movie.
every
it's
movie
fine.
needs
It doesn't
to have
need
that.
it.
It's about.
But it was
It's a movie about.
This was
it's not about characters.
the Battle of Dunkirk or whatever
Yeah.
this is actually
The
called.
scenario.
The scenario of Dunkirk.
Yeah.
So in that way, I love it. But 8.3 is what I'm gonna give
Sure.
it. Like I think it's.
Yeah.
You should definitely go watch it.
I definitely like if it had like.
I
all
would
they
watch
had to
this in
do-
the theater.
All they had to do, I would almost recommend going to watch IMAX. We didn't watch it IMAX. It was
I don't
beautiful.
think it was optional. IMAX.
Yeah, there was IMAX available. I was like, I don't
There.
know if I want to pay it. Yeah, they have IMAX there.
No, I
Usually it's
know they have
3D.
IMAX there, but I'm saying
It
like,
was showing there
Okay.
in IMAX. Yeah.
okay, because a lot of times they'll just have movies at that theater and not they're not the IMAX.
They usually, I mean, it's usually 3D. It's usually a superhero movie that's post-converted to IMAX.
I
Like,
would be sure that
it was
Spider-Man is still playing in their IMAX right now.
No. I mean, 3D. I don't even know. No. The movies don't hold on, man. That was 2 weeks ago.
We are really on a fucking good run of movies, though.
I think it's going to start dropping off. I
Probably
haven't heard of any.
4 in a row.
Yeah, I don't know what's. I'm sure there's something else
I
coming
still
out.
can't wait for Thor Ragnarok coming up.
That's
and I
winter
know,
though.
That's November.
Fall. We watched the Justice League trailer, which I thought looked like dog shit. Like after we watched War for the Planet of the Apes, and we saw amazing
Cyborg's
CGI
face looks
used.
so fucked up in that.
Is that the black dude?
Yeah.
His whole body
it
is
just looks
fucking horrible,
non-rendered.
dog shit CG.
It's like, could you give
all
us...
of this? The background things look like fucking video game grade bullshit. Like when they all kind of like, and they do the fucking intro shit. And this guy from the da-da-da. It's like, okay, like every movie's gonna do that.
I knew you were
Every
gonna love
fucking-
that. Like
it
I was
so
watching it, I'm
bad.
like, I literally...
so bad.
There were a couple previews, though, that I thought were all right.
Yeah, there was some good ones, some bad, but that one just like, I was at
I've
least
seen
hoping
that
it looked
one
yeah
multiple times.
I don't give a shit, and I've heard that Batfleck is like, oh, I don't think I want to do Batman anymore. I'm good. So
I don't know.
even he doesn't want to do that dog shit, which is great for the franchise. It's like, oh, let's change Iron Man now. Iron Man doesn't want to do it anymore. I mean, after like the 2 Iron Mans. Second Iron Man comes out. Let's get Ben Affleck instead of Robert Downey Jr. Let's mix it up. It's like, you can't. We're just starting. We can't leave.
Go see Dunkirk, people.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. For sure, if you want to see a great version of it, go see it in like IMAX or go see it in the theater.
Just go see it in the theater.
But also know it's not like the last few movies we've watched, which
You're
have
not
been
gonna
a
have
lot of fun.
You're not gonna have a fun time.
It's a stressful movie, but it's at a great runtime for a stressful movie. They're not trying to fuck you. They're just trying to
You're not
give you an
gonna be there for
experience.
3 hours, less than 2 hours. You can go.
Do you think
15
this is
minutes.
going to be the movie that Christopher Nolan gets nominated for?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I love his work. He does
I like
a lot
it,
of great
but
stuff.
That's not nominee.
Yeah, I
worth.
don't know if this is. I don't know if it's. I mean, it's not the best time of year. First off, for it, you'd want to primarily do it at the end of the year.
Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen the rest of the schlag that's
We're
out
not
there.
going to. They're all going to get released at the end of the year.
True.
Majority of nominees are all late. Usually, there's usually a few that are. It might get nominated.
Could it be?
I could see it get
Maybe.
nominated.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. It is the soundtrack. The score is
The score.
amazing. The acting is fucking amazing. I like the acting.
Everyone acts.
It's just the way it's written isn't for characters. It's written for what
It's
you're
about the
experiencing.
scenario, not the characters.
Yeah, exactly. So, which is fine, because that's what you'd get with every other fucking war movie. It's like, we got to find out, where's Tennessee from?
Yeah,
I'm from Texas.
I'm perfectly.
It's a different kind of war
I'm
movie.
happy in how this was done.
It's like a art film war movie.
Yes,
in a way.
The best documentary I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not a documentary.
Yeah. So definitely watch it in theaters, at home. Although the theater is going to be a better experience, unless you have an amazing. Like I almost every time I go there, it's like they just need to crank the speakers just a little bit. Except for the IMAX theater.
That's the
IMAX
only part
seems
of
to be all
our
great.
projector system that isn't.
Yeah, I don't have surround sound, and it's. I mean, when you're in an apartment, you can't really, unless you want to be an asshole. Which there's plenty of other assholes. I don't need to raise my hand to be part of. I'll be an asshole too. Yeah. So
what's everyone else doing? Asshole things? I think I'll jump in on that.
Yeah. So let's move on to some Ultimate Movie Championship.
Feels like we haven't played this in forever.
We played it. I mean, we just played it with War for the Planet of the Apes.
I know.
This was like a week
But
ago.
it feels like.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't even know where I'm going right now.
You're going to patreon.com.
Oh yeah, that's right. Before we start our thing with the Ultimate Movie Championship, Go to Patreon, patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. That's where you can donate to support Inspired Disorder, which includes the Inspired Disorder podcast. Comes out twice a week in video and audio and live. You got the Ultimate Movie Championship, which is a bi-weekly iTunes podcast that we record. It's a segment part of our video. Got Early Retirement, which is a podcast I do, solo podcast I do. Comes out twice a week in audio, once a week on YouTube. And I'm an artist, and I do photoshops. So if you want to support all that, help me keep doing all these things, go to patreon.com. Start with $1. You can donate more if you want. It's a monthly donation, and there are perks if you do decide to donate more. With all that said, and big shout out to one of the few people that's actually paid for photoshops that I've done, Ari Shafir, just came out with a double special on Netflix, Double Negative. He's a comic that I've seen many times live. I'm a huge fan of his podcast.
I'd rub
Podcasts.
his hangy old balls.
I don't know if I'd want to go anywhere near his balls or his asshole, but he did use one of my photoshops and paid me for it, and going to be using at least one more. I did 3, so look forward to those. Follow Ari and myself on Instagram. But let's get into the Ultimate Movie Championship, brought to you by patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. This is where we go to flickchart.com and we rank movies based on a lot of different
high stakes.
Well, we've done the fucking top shit so many times.
Yeah, but we've brought more movies in. We've
brought a few movies in.
Do like top 200 then.
All right.
It doesn't have to be the
if we start getting a lot of the same shit.
top 100 usually brings it, like a lot of the same shit. Top 200 or 250, that's fine.
Yeah.
Fredward Scissorhands versus Night at the Museum.
It's like hard to talk. I'm drinking and smoking and fucking my other hand is rubbing my dick. I don't know what's going on. I have seen both of these. You as well, I'm assuming. I mean, it's on our top 250, so I don't know why I'm asking at this point. Unless it's sometimes there's a clerical error where
sometimes one of us is like,
I randomly click the wrong thing, or it's like
that. Sometimes I randomly spill beer all over myself. So,
well, get that hole in your lip fixed.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands.
It's like that was even a like
it's one of my top fucking what's his face movies.
TB.
Yeah, probably that underneath. Like there's Big Fish, and Beetlejuice, which kind of interchange depending. And then third probably Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day versus A Clockwork
Orange
Trump. Yeah.
Clockwork Orange.
No way, Groundhog's Day.
I love Groundhog's Day, but Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I love
fucking
Groundhog's Day. Clockwork Orange is a good film, but you can go fuck yourself. It's like, it's just too bummer. I'd rather watch Groundhog's Day all day. Bill Murray. It's just like,
I get where you're going with this, and I love Groundhog's Day, but I'm not going to go against. I would give you
Dunkirk's a great movie, but I'd put Groundhog's Day over Dunkirk.
Yeah. I would give you Groundhog's Day over The Shining, but I won't do it over Clockwork Orange.
Well, I appreciate
take
that.
It to the judges.
I appreciate you making concessions for Groundhog's Day, but I would go Groundhog's Day over all of his movies. And I like some of his movies, but every single one of them I'd go Groundhog's Day. All right. We cannot decide, so we go to the judges. Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of a bummer that we go to the judges for basically whatever movie's the higher rated
is gonna
win.
Sometimes you got to take a fucking Jesus Christ.
That's a lot higher than I thought it was.
96%.
Ash fell on my glasses. I just got cream pied by my fucking joint. 96% Rotten Tomatoes Groundhog's Day, higher than fan score, which is insane, in the membrane. Versus, fuck other movie was it?
Clockwork Orange.
Which the scene where they have to pry his eyes open. I mean, there's 93. Fan scores only tie it. Right? Was it 93
Yeah.
for? Groundhog's Day. See, I'm good with the judges on that.
I'm fine with. Hey, I'll take the judges' score on that.
Hannibal versus Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, which Hannibal is the
Sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the third?
it's the one where they cut.
Ray Liotta's.
Well, technically, yeah, the third. Manhunter was the first. Then Silence of the Lambs was technically a sequel.
Oh, so this was
And
the
then-
second. Well, like, fuck Manhunter. I'm not counting that.
Manhunter's
I know,
better
it
than
is.
Hannibal.
Is it?
Yeah, Hannibal's not good. Manhunter's
it's
it's just
okay.
80s kind of
okay.
like. Sure, I liked.
But I thought Manhunter was made for TV or something.
No, it's just. I mean, it wasn't a big budget. It's like it might have been. I don't know. I still liked it better.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
One of my favorite kids' movies that is super dark.
Super dark. Yeah. There's no earthly way of knowing the rest of the words for that song. I'm not showing.
I know the whole song.
Is it raining? Is it snowing? E.T. the extraterrestrial.
I love both of these posters.
E.T. the extraterrestrial versus Star Wars.
The OG.
I like the Star Wars more, but I do agree they are good posters.
I'm gonna go Star Wars.
Yeah.
E.T. for some reason
Oh, Star
for me
Wars
is
kinda
not.
weak.
Yeah, Star Wars for me is
For
the
the
weakest
trilogy.
of the
First
original,
trilogy.
And a lot of people are like, "Fuck you! I fucking." Yeah, okay. I was born past 77.
No,
so
you know what? They can just suck your dick, because fuck them. I mean, who cares? Born in the 60s. Watch all three. The first one
Well, obviously
is great
the
for the
production value
time.
goes up with each one.
Well, yeah, but like for the time, Star Wars was like, oh, it's fucking amazing. Their model, like they did great work for
They
the
won
time.
Oscars for that shit.
I'm talking about fucking movie, story, shit that happens in the movie. This is like weak compared to the second two. I mean, this one's a lot better only because Rogue One exists. It makes this one so much better. But it's a very like shallow film. There's not a lot of depth to it. Whereas the second two have a lot more depth.
It's definitely the setup for the hero's tale, and I'm glad that the next two movies
Well,
were better.
it is
but
the hero's
I still am going Star Wars.
Yeah.
E.T. just didn't hold up for me. I never want to revisit. Like, I saw that in the theaters as a kid, I remember.
I mean, I watched. It was one of the VHS.
It was
tapes I
obviously
had,
one of
and I
the
watched
times
a
they
bunch.
re-released it, because that used to
I mean,
be a
they've
thing.
never done that to Star Wars. 3 times. I'm surprised they didn't for the
randomly,
new
like,
ones.
I'm sure it was like 88 or something. Like, they was like, hey, watch E.T. at the movie theaters.
Right.
But this was like before video rentals really were a huge thing.
I almost want to go E.T.
I can't do it.
Just because, like, I mean, out of what we know as Star Wars,
Elliot.
sure. You're just making me like it more. Just keep reminding me more of the movie.
Drew Barrymore.
Sure.
Gertie.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I think E.T.
I can't.
I mean, if it was any of the other fucking early ones, I'd go Star Wars
Look at
2,
that
Star Wars
poster,
3.
though.
I don't give a fuck. We're not going on poster. You said you liked both of the posters. I liked the Star Wars one more. But I'm talking about movie. If it was Star Wars 2 or 3, for sure beats E.T. Star Wars 1, little weak. E.T. destroys the prequels.
Well,
But
yeah,
this
but
one-
that's not a prequel.
I know. It's just beating this one. It's not destroying it. It's a close decision. But I got to go E.T. Because fucking, there's so many fucking movies and franchises. Like, okay, I can't have them all in here just because they're part of some bullshit. I want the best ones.
True.
That's not the best one.
All right, you got me. I'll go E.T. Good argument.
Yeah, I just didn't want. Try not to go to the judges.
Oh, motherfucker.
Wow. Well, okay. Goodfellas versus Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Goodfellas.
If this was Snatch, maybe more difficult, but I'd still go Goodfellas.
Yeah, I mean,
think
I
Goodfellas
I
beats.
just really like Lock, Stock.
Me too.
But I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
Goodfellas is fucking
Yeah.
good. It's good. It's Goodfellas.
Yeah, but
If
like
you
Snatch is my favorite Guy Ritchie movie.
But if you're watching this and you haven't seen Goodfellas,
oh, for sure. If you haven't watched either of these, go watch both of them now. I would imagine most people haven't seen Lock, Stock because it's an independent movie, unless it's on cable somewhere. But
true.
Goodfellas is well regarded as the movie Scorsese should have won the fucking Oscar for.
Oh, it's better than The Departed.
It's like his best film.
Yeah, that movie was so good.
I mean, he's done a lot of great
Why'd
films.
you
but
do
one
that,
was great.
Karen?
Yeah, and
Karen!
I'm not a huge mobster
No,
film guy.
I've never watched any of the Godfather
I
movies.
watched 2 of them.
Suck
first
it,
2,
internet.
but they're boring as fuck. Which I'm surprised you don't like them. It's like fucking Kubrick style of pacing. It's just boring as shit. Yeah, Goodfellas.
I watched Hoffa. That
never
was
seen
not great, and that was Pesci and De Niro.
Sure. But. Monty Python and the Holy Grail versus Kingsman: The Secret Service, which is the first. The sequel's coming out. I did enjoy the first one.
It was
It's
fun
basically a fun origin story for 007 that doesn't involve itself with 007.
It's extreme James Bond. It's what Triple X was trying to be,
If
but
you've
done
caught up
the right
with James
way.
Bond, it's James
you know
Bond.
what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
It's what Triple X wanted to be.
No, Triple X is specifically extreme sports people doing. So
Okay,
that's
this
why
is-
it's Triple X.
This
This is very much a James Bond origin story.
Monty Python for me.
But yeah, it's a classic. Even though I'm not a huge
it's
Monty Python.
probably my favorite of the Monty Pythons.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. Predator
Get to the chopper.
versus Home Alone. Home Alone.
Ah!
Yeah. The prequel to the Saw series. One of the prequels. Later he gets cancer and starts, torturing people.
Later he becomes Macaulay Culkin,
yeah.
which is just bad
Yeah.
enough.
Was that you going with Home Alone?
Are we just going with Home Alone? Like
No,
what-
I don't know. I thought you were going Home
no,
Alone. I'm going Home Alone.
Are you?
I like both of these movies. But it's like Home Alone is like a fucking classic versus Predator,
which is a
classic
classic.
too, but it's
don't discount the
It is
Predator.
in the category of Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie
I
classics.
don't care.
And
Like
that's-
those
I
are
know.
some of the best classics of all time.
But still, Home Alone beats a lot of them for me. And it
Home
beats
Alone
Predator.
beats a lot of
Yeah.
them, but
So
Predator
Predator's
is
not up
one
there
of
for me.
the best.
Not for me. Predator's not high for me for
How
Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because I probably didn't grow up with it. I watched it a few times. I've seen like the sequel maybe. I saw the dog shit fucking Alien vs Predator bullshit, whatever.
I even like that one because
Yeah.
I like the Predator so much.
But yeah, Home Alone is fucking. I mean, it's just a fucking.
I'll go
just a-
Home Alone,
It's
but
just like like classic.
but to make
There's
that
moments of
decision
Predator
so
that are
quick,
classic.
like the Predator is
Well, that's
such a good
easy for
movie.
me. I like both of these movies. Don't get me wrong. They're both in our top 250. But if I had to guess, Home Alone's already way up. Like I'd like Home Alone somewhere in our top 20. I wouldn't mind if it's in our top 20. Top 15, top
50.
20. No, fuck it. There's some bullshit in our top 20 still. The last 5 could easily be gone.
But there's 5 others that I'd put in its place before
Like-
Home Alone.
Yeah, but this could easily replace the 2 movies on our top list that we're split on. Like that
Like
could replace Donnie Darko and
or
fucking
the-
Good Will Hunting. Or, I mean, it's not
Eternal
beating
Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine ever. There's no way. But I'll give up fucking Good Will Hunting.
Wait, how do
Good
you
Will
get 2
Hunting-
that I hate?
Good Will Hunting is the fucking, I don't know, you're a hater of good movies. I don't get it. I don't know why you don't like those movies, but you don't like them. I just don't like Donnie
I'll
Darko
go
because
Home Alone.
overrated as fuck. But I get why people like confusing movies. All right.
The time and place
I mean, it's like,
that I
if
saw
these
that
were like
in my life.
Home Alone, then Predator, I'm good with that. They could be 1 and 2 and whatever, but I don't think Predator should be above Home Alone. 8 Mile
80 miles?
versus Team America World Police.
Fuck yeah.
Team America World Police.
Fuck yeah.
You're not mad that I made such a quick decision?
Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah?
Yeah. A fucking marionette movie beats 8 Mile. Pitch Black versus Mrs. Doubtfire. The best movie in the Riddick franchise. Granted, it's probably the one of 2 movies I've seen in the Riddick franchise. But I got to go Pitch Black. I love
I was
Mrs.
afraid.
Doubtfire.
I was gonna fight you to the death on this one, but you came out and said Mitch Black.
If it was any other Riddick
You know that
movie,
guy Mitch Black? Yeah. I'm going Mitch Black.
Yeah, it's an independent sci-fi movie that turned into a franchise. But only like same thing with like Saw. Independent horror movie turned into a franchise. The
Vin
first
Diesel
one's
financed
great.
the whole last one.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure he's been a producer for a while. He knows it's a moneymaker. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, Pitch Black.
I bought that shit.
The only good one. Napoleon Dynamite versus Jackie Brown.
Jackie
One
Brown.
of the most underrated Tarantino movies, but it's really hard to underrate any of his.
It is, but this is
movies.
definitely his most underrated movie.
Probably. I mean, sure. People don't talk about it really.
Yeah. De Niro, Chris Tucker, Sam Jackson.
Yeah, they
Such
killed
a-
Chris Tucker. I love that. Chris
Throw him in
Tucker
a
should
trunk.
not live throughout any movie.
And I love Napoleon Dynamite when it came out. Like, I bought it. I watched it a bunch of times, but for
I went
some
to
reason,
the theater and watched that like
It,
3
like-
or 4 times.
and it was so funny every time, right?
I watched
and then,
it in
and then
video.
weirdly enough, it
well,
just
and then like
it
that
hit
genre
it hit
of film.
the crest,
No,
and
it's,
then
it's the same thing that happened to The Matrix. Every fucking movie that came out after this was a Napoleon Dynamite ripoff, and the fact that that deadpan style got just washed out is the exact same thing with Bullet Time after The Matrix.
Yeah.
Hollywood killed that movie. They killed it because then every fucking movie was just this, like trying to be Napoleon Dynamite.
Jackie Brown.
But yeah, Jackie Brown's great.
Schindler's List
Holy shit, these
versus
are 2 depressing
Night at the
movies.
Museum.
Schindler's
It's
List.
depressing
versus
that
Night
I
at the
want to
Museums.
root for Night at the Museum, even though I know Schindler's List is a far superior movie.
Sure,
But I've only been
Night at
able
the
to watch
Museum's
Schindler's
not-
List once.
but here's the thing. Despite it being a downer and just technically a good movie, film, whatever, but seeing it once, good. I'm good on that. Rather watch Dunkirk again 100 times.
Oh, yes.
Schindler's List.
If you-
However,
especially runtime wise.
However, both of these movies aren't going to be high on our list. They're
No.
both going to be low.
I want you to
And
be.
there's no way I can vote for Night at the Museum to beat Schindler's List. There's no way. It is a bad movie.
whatever. It's
a
not-
bad kids movie, and I'm too old.
It's fine.
It's a kids movie.
But
You get to see Robin Williams
I'll-
before he's dead.
I'll concede whatever. Schindler's List is a far superior movie.
Yeah, it's
but
not getting anywhere near the top, so I'm not worried
No,
about.
get it.
But
get
like
this
between
shit out-
these 2 films,
click something.
I
Get it out
cannot-
of my face.
I
I
cannot
don't even
have
want
Night
to.
at
I don't
the
even want to
Museum.
see it.
I'm
I'm
that's
getting
like
bummed out right
Yeah.
now just
Okay.
thinking about the
That's all
Schindler's
right.
List.
Yeah, it's probably like number 16. The Sixth Sense versus Trading Places.
6 Sense. Man. Whoa, you're
Close.
pausing on Trading Places?
I don't know. Trading Places,
It's
I don't know. I
a
haven't
fun movie,
revisited
but
in a
the
while,
fucking
but
6 Sense.
yeah,
It's the one Shyamalan movie I'll fucking ever go with.
yeah. Well, you didn't mind Unbreakable. You liked Unbreakable, and you haven't seen Split.
I didn't mind it, but I also
It was
have.
slow.
I think
I
it's
think
super
slow
slow.
was your. But you've gotten used to slow movies. If you saw it in the theater,
If I
you'd
had
probably
seen it
have
in
a
the theater,
different-
I would have
yeah.
had a whole different. But
Yeah.
I watched it at home,
Yeah.
and I literally
It is slow.
I snuck fast forward into it, like
yeah,
I was sitting
Oh,
there,
well,
like,
then-
and I was like,
that's horrible. Never do that. Either turn the movie off or don't fast forward.
I
Skip
snuck
through
fast
shit.
forward. I've watched.
You're
it again.
missing-
I've
you could
watched,
potentially
no, I've
miss-
watched it again since.
Oh, okay.
But the first time I watched it, I was
Yeah.
literally, I was so into it,
Yeah.
and then I got so fucking bored.
Well, you're at
and then
home,
I was into it again.
and everything's a distraction.
I had no internet back then.
Oh yeah, like internet's distracting. You're not in the theater.
True.
You just fucking walk outside, go take a piss, go to the kitchen.
Smoke a cigarette real
Yeah,
quick.
sure. It's like there's zillions of distractions before computers and phones.
6 Sense.
Yeah, 6 Sense. Which I'm sure if you watch that for the first time at home, you probably would got bored. Because all of his movies are pretty slowly paced. Fantasia.
Walt Disney's 1940 animated
Classic.
This is like one of the original
Well,
feature releases from Disney.
maybe, but it was the
1940.
One of the
It's
first
actually the first feature length.
is the only animated feature to be animated to the music. All
the
animators
music was done, and then the animation was
listened
done
to it.
to the music.
Yeah. And then they tried to redo it with Fantasia 2000,
Which is
with computers.
It's
and,
pretty much
not
the
same
Faust
thing.
story, but with
Well, it just
magic.
goes to different
Yeah.
shit.
Versus Life of
Life
Brian.
of Brian, which I'd go Fantasia. I mean, like I said already, I'm not a huge Monty Python. I do enjoy Fantasia, but I'm not gonna watch either of these things. And Life of Brian's probably the second favorite of the Monty Python movies.
I gotta go with Life of Brian. Oh, out of all the Disney movies, like,
Oh, sure.
this is probably the
But
one.
it's not a Disney movie. I mean, it's a Disney movie, but it's
No,
not your
it's-
stereotypical Disney movie. It's not
the first
princess
Disney movie.
and hero.
But there's
It's-
no dialogue in this entire movie. It's
Yeah.
just a score
I know.
and animation.
Yeah.
Life of Brian. It's funny. It's doing the whole Jesus parody. It's mocking that. I would rather watch
It's
that.
a fictional movie about a fictional religion.
Exactly, but I've got 10 other Disney movies I'd put in front of Fantasia.
Sure.
And I've got one
However,
Monty Python I put
let's
in
say
front of that
Fantasia is. I mean, they've done a lot of dog shit that I probably haven't seen. But let's say Fantasia, the worst of the Disney movie. I will take the worst of the Disney movie over
The
a
second
genre of
best.
comedy. I don't like. It's the second best of a franchise I don't give a fuck about. If this was Holy Grail, I go Fantasia. I go Fantasia over every single Monty Python thing has ever done.
Then we got to take
because
this
that's
to
me.
judges.
I prefer.
I'll-
I'm just saying, for me,
I'm probably going to lose this, but
I'm not a fan of the dry British comedy. I'm a fan
like
of
it.
artists doing shit. It's just like, hey, we made this art piece in the 40s. Let's put it put it in theaters. They're not trying to do some fucking bullshit Prince and hero shit.
This is also art, though, too. I mean, it's just not art.
But it's not an art that I enjoy. As far as comedy is art, genres of comedy,
Yeah.
that fits into a genre that I'm not a big fan of. Like, I like Joe Rogan and Ari Shaffir and fucking
But I still put that
Shit.
in front of that.
sure. But
Let's-
but your thing being this is the worst Disney movie or whatever.
No, I don't think
know,
it's
but whatever.
the worst. But
If
I'm
it
saying
was the
let's-
worst, I still put it above every Monty Python movie. So that's why the second best Monty Python
you-
is still two.
You'd
two
be like
slots above.
Pocahontas over fucking over Holy Grail.
Well, I don't think this is the worst one.
I don't
I'm just
think it's
as
the worst,
an argument.
but I'm saying like
I think this is better than most of the Disney bullshit that's out there
But
because it's the most.
it's like fucking 45 minutes.
Sure, I don't give a shit.
It's
Well, that's better because longer.
actually I don't even. It might be a half hour.
I mean, I think you have to hit at least 70 minutes to be a theatrical. This isn't TV.
I don't know about back then in the 40s.
I don't know either, but I don't. It could be 10 minutes. Fantasia could be a 10-minute clip. I like it better than any of the Monty Python shit.
Take it to the judges.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm
just
probably
don't-
gonna lose that.
It's just,
Fantasia
I don't
is like such a
dry British comedy. Like even the shit Turn It Up to 11. I don't think I've ever finished watching that. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and that's
Spinal
mockumentary, but it's still like there's a genre of comedy that's just I don't give it. Like Mr. Bean. You can go fuck yourself, Mr.
Yeah, I
Bean.
really never got into the Rowan Atkinson,
Let's see.
Monty Python, or
Let's go. Life
Live of Brian.
All right. Life of Brian coming in 96% versus.
This is scary because I think it could be close.
All right. So 96
96.
versus Fantasia coming in at 96.
Fans? Oh shit! This is the second tie ever.
Ever. Hold on. I need a drink.
Now I gotta get a drink.
I wish my 40 wasn't so warm. All right. So we have a second tie. I don't even remember what the first tie was, but this is our second tie. 96% for
Holy
critic
shit.
score. Fantasia versus Life of Brian. Fantasia comes in at 83.
See, and
versus,
I kind of remember.
Well, we're gonna find out. 83% fan score for Fantasia versus 93 for Life of Brian.
Oh shit!
That was a close
Second tie ever. I'm glad we went to the judges.
I'm not. I still want Fantasia above it. Judges fuck
Oh,
me all the
shit.
time.
Oh shit! This is a weird
This
combo.
one's super easy.
Yeah.
It is an interesting combo.
It's
iRobot versus RoboCop, the original RoboCop.
RoboCop.
iRobot
God damn
is
it.
a dog shit movie.
Thank you. All right.
It is. You know what? What it
thought-
reminds me of?
I was literally
Most
like,
Will Smith movies.
I was literally about to be like,
iRobot is like not much different from fucking.
And I know that you're not a big RoboCop fan, but I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have.
Fucking
God
iRobot's
damn it.
bullshit. The only good thing about iRobot is the fact that a show I used to watch, a reality show called American Choppers, made a custom bike for Will Smith.
I watched
That bike was amazing. The movie, ugh. One of the reasons I'm not a fan of Will Smith.
You don't like Sonny the robot?
I don't remember any of the names. That movie's so forgettable. Like so many of his movies.
He had a
Many of his
bionic
movies.
arm in that movie, and he hated robots.
He needs to stop acting, and he needs to abort his kids.
Post abort his kids.
I just do it. RoboCop.
3 more.
Sure. Dun dun dun.
Saving your choices, saving your choices. Choices getting saved today.
Speak of the devil. Good Will Hunting versus Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Yeah, I'll go Dodgeball.
Oh shit!
Listen, I understand. I don't want to fucking have to argue with our top 20 movies all the time. I'd like to agree on a top 20
I would too.
and get just I love Good Will Hunting. I love Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind way more than Good Will Hunting. Way more. So that one's a tougher one.
How
This
about
one's
them
fun.
apples?
Yeah. But I do enjoy. This is the only good Batfleck movie, really. Although I did see The Town, I think. That was pretty good. But he's still horrible. He's a horrible actor. Dodgeball. I'm glad he's leaving the Batman series.
I doubt he does.
He is. Oh, he's already left. He was going to be a director, left that. And then he's going to be Batman. And he doesn't want to do that now. So it's like,
I haven't
it sounds
heard
like
that.
he's trying to get out.
that. And I follow all those sites, so.
Well, it just came out today. I saw it. I saw it on Facebook/film. But I didn't read the article. I just read the headline. And I was like, fuck Batfleck. Meet the Fockers versus the original Tron.
Tron.
I
love Tron.
Tron's
it's
okay.
so corny.
It's good.
And it's so
whatever.
early animation, but I love the idea and that they went for it.
Sure, it's for the time. It's great. Sure, I'm not a big fan of the sequel for sure.
No.
Interesting
it was
Scream 2
It was
poster.
interesting visually, but not the rest of it was
I mean, it was
no
the
story.
Daft Punk soundtrack.
Yeah.
Or music
video.
Yeah. It was the Lemonade before Lemonade. Scream 2 versus
Oh, I thought you just wanted me to scream twice.
sure, Royal Tenenbaums 2. That's not how you Tenenbaum.
How do you?
You gotta like get a fedora or something and straighten your cuffs.
I would figure that you had to get
This
like
is
some like Tiger Balm.
this is
and
like
some
the origins of hipster.
Oh, what if you hit like balm with like a tennis racket? Would that be close to Tenenbauming?
That's definitely turning our show into more of a Jackass kind of premise. If we're gonna get hit with tennis bomb from a tennis racket.
No, but I'm just saying, like, wouldn't that be Tenenbauming?
Tenenbauming. Sure. Or you're just embalming 10
Well,
people.
I screamed twice, and you were like, "That's not Tenenbauming." So
No.
what is Tenenbauming?
Anything other than screaming, doing exactly what you just did again.
All right. I
Scream
guess.
2 and then Royal Tenenbaums sound exactly the same when Keith is scared.
Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, Royal Tenenbaums. Last one.
Last one.
Lethal Weapon 2 versus, speaking of
Diplomatic
balm
immunity.
or hair products, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Got the, I forget what the kind of hair gel that, or hair fucking wax that he
Grease.
uses. Yeah.
Lethal Weapon 2.
Yeah, Lethal Weapon 2.
Diplomatic immunity.
Well, oh wait, that's Ray.
Yeah.
I got a woman. That's not the.
Oh! Down, that digs on me.
So that was it. We're almost to 1,000. Oh, we keep doing this fucking shit. We should try and get to 1,000 in our next thing. Just do new movies that we haven't rated, so
Sure.
they're guaranteed to be. Let's go over our list, see if anything
I don't
changed.
think anything-
I don't think anything did either. We'll go
Like,
over
not
it another
big.
time.
No, let's
All
see
right,
it.
we'll go. And
I want to see it at least.
All right. Well, if we're gonna see it, might as well make it happen. So coming in still at number 1, Fight Club. Number 2, Office Space. Number 3, The Big Lebowski. Number 4, Empire Strikes Back. And number 50, Anchorman,
That's
The Legend of Ron
solid
Burgundy.
top 5.
I do agree.
Let's go on. Number 6, Inglourious Bastards. Number 7, Goonies. Number 8, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Best of that franchise.
That's fine. Still
Number
should go
9,
lower.
Jurassic Park, the
Better.
original,
The only good
obviously.
one. Yeah.
Number 10, Forrest Gump. Boom, I like that top 10.
Solid top 10. Number 11, Neverending Story. Number 12, Toy Story.
A lot
Number
of stories.
13, Return of the Jedi story.
Like that story.
Number 14, Terminator 2, The Judgment Day story.
Ooh, best
And number
story.
15,
A super
The
bad
Superbad story.
Oh shit. Number 16, The Hangover. Number 17, Dodgeball jumps up into the top 20. Number 18, Good Will Hunting. Get the fuck out of here. Number 19, Braveheart. Number 20, Team America World Police. You're lucky Donnie Darko got bumped.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
I was like, where's Donnie? You know, it's also not in the top 20.
Eternal Sunshine. Bumpage.
I don't know how that happened, but it did.
I
mean, it's probably been a while.
doth protest too much.
Keith's been logging in. He's like, fuck this shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's fine, though. It hurts a little bit. Just know it's gone.
There's like 1 or 2 for each of us.
But
on
I like
that.
it's
a
solid top 15. Perfect timing.
Yes,
Perfect timing.
that is the best.
Server error. All right, that's great. But what the fuck was I just saying? Solid top 15. The last 4, I think, could be stronger. Or last 5 could be stronger. The last 5 are top 20. Like, they're good. I don't
There
mind
could be
them. I don't hate them.
Goodfellas in there.
Oh, yeah.
There could be a fucking.
Yeah.
There's so many things that could be in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad.
I'm glad
some of
all the Disneys got bumped out.
I don't mind. Toy Story's right up there. Toy Story's
Pixar,
number 15.
and Pixar
Well, it's
wasn't-
Disney.
Now.
Sure. They bought this. Fucking Star Wars is Disney.
But I'm saying, like,
I
when
get
it came
when
out,
it
it
was
wasn't.
Pixar. But it was still Disney was an investor.
Yes,
and
they
Apple.
were. They were.
Fucking Steve Jobs saved fucking Pixar before Disney bought him. He fucking spent so much of his Apple money.
That's
And
fine.
then he died from I made so much good shit. It can only go downhill from here. The iPhone's out.
they're
the
going to
iPad's
make
out.
these terrible movies about me. I should die right now.
I haven't seen there's one good one that's supposed to be
They said the Ashton
Steve
Kutcher
Jobs.
one
That was dog shit. I
was
tried to
better
watch
than-
it.
Or you think the Michael Fassbender one? I heard that
Yeah.
one was terrible.
Ugh, I don't know. Yeah. There's
I haven't watched
Justin
either.
Long did one.
Did he?
Kutcher did one. I think Long's may have been a spoof one. I haven't seen it, but I mean he's the Apple guy in the
He was.
commercial. But the Fassbender one from people that like geeks that knew
Wait,
Apple and
wasn't he the
Steve
Dell
Jobs.
kid?
No, the Dell kid's like obscurity. I don't know where he is. Dude, you're getting a Dell. No, he was the Apple guy, and then it was the geek.
PC.
Yeah, PC guy. It was that whole thing.
I think he
but Justin Long was the.
he ended up being on the Daily Show. Like he was a
He did a lot of.
correspondent.
He did a lot of like.
like that dude. There was the
Yeah,
PC
yeah,
guy.
the PC guy. He was one of the alternative comics. I heard him on like NPR shows, and like he was on I don't know. He did like a lot of like nerd shit. So I heard of him from that end. But anyway, I don't know where we're going. I don't know where we're
Go
going.
see Dunkirk.
Go see Dunkirk. Thank you for watching.
This has been a great year for movies so far. I want to
It's
throw
been
that
a
out
great
there.
summer. We did have a few pre-summer ones like Kong Skull Island. We got
only
a
one
decent DC movie that everybody jerked off over.
Only one I haven't
which
really
looks like the only bad
really
good one.
liked was It Comes at Night, and
yeah.
I still think it's a good movie. I just didn't like it.
It's not an. It's
How
not
do I
fun,
describe it?
It's not entertaining. It's an experience.
Yeah.
Like this is similar, but it's more of an experience. Where that one's like, I mean, 1/100th the scale
Yeah.
smaller.
But so far, like for the rest of the movies,
solid
we've
movies.
seen,
We haven't
solid
seen any
movies.
fucking BVS or Suicide.
Or what's the fucking that other independent fucking the Frat Boys movie?
Or Goat.
Yeah, that was fucking
That
terrible.
was horrible. Yeah. That was a nothing movie.
That was
That is a nothing movie. Yeah, but as far as summer blockbusters that were super disappointing last year, like not even like there's been some shitters. Mummy I heard was dog shit. I was hoping the Baywatch one was going to be funny.
Yeah, that got
Which I'll
rated
see
bad.
it.
The Transformers one got rated bad.
That
but,
was like I don't give a fuck about Transformers.
But I will say this: if you haven't seen Planet of the Apes, or
Baby Driver,
or Baby Driver, and you're going to the movies right now, and they're all three playing.
Spider-Man, Baby Driver.
I would say go see
And-
the other ones before Dunkirk if you want to have a good time.
Don't mix
If you
Dunkirk in with it.
If you want to go like deep into,
you know what? If you're gonna do Dunkirk in the mix, you could do Dunkirk, but it has to be first because I didn't feel exhausted after the movie. I felt relieved that the stress was over, but I didn't feel exhausted. So I think a good balance to that would probably be Baby Driver. Complete palate cleanser. It's baggage free. Just go in, sit down, have fun, forget that you just were stressed out in war times, and then go Spider-Man. Because you'll cleanse your palate from Dunkirk. You see Baby Driver, which more people need to see. To fuck all these big budget ones. Go support Baby Driver.
how's that doing at the theaters?
I think it did well, but it's like I think it's been tough. There's been a lot of good movies. War of the Planet of the Apes did okay, but it's not like none of these are break. It's been from what I've heard.
I was surprised how full the theater was today.
It was
for
all right.
a
something. I thought it was
movie.
going to be a
lot of
little
old
bit,
people.
I just thought it was going to be a little bit less. I mean, there was a good amount of old people in there. But yeah, I'd go Dunkirk, Baby Driver, Spider-Man. What was the other movie that
War.
was? Oh, War. War's great. That would be a tough one to add in the mix too.
You got to watch that the next day.
That one's a tough one. Yeah.
Put that off to some.
Because that one's a little bit longer too.
Yeah.
Where Dunkirk's under 2 hours. So fatigue-wise, if you're doing a marathon, Dunkirk, you'll get revitalized with Baby Driver, and it'll be perfect mood for Spider-Man.
I agree.
Homecoming.
It'd be fun.
That's a great triple play.
And they're all
action.
still in theaters right now.
I would imagine most of them are, yeah.
So
I mean,
if you want to
something-
just theater,
technically,
if
we
you
were
want
in
to
a
just
small theater for Dunkirk.
Yeah, if you want to just theater
So-
hop, if you've never done it before and you
do it.
want to have a good time,
Yeah.
You
Buy
could-
concessions. That's where they make their money anyway.
it's the only place they make them.
Yeah, well, I mean, they make a small percentage through ticket sales, but yeah, they make their money selling you expensive ass popcorn.
I bought a bottle of water for
Yeah.
$6 today, so
Yeah, I try to buy at least something from the concession stand. But if you're gonna sneak in, but when I used to do it, I'd go between movies. I'd go to the concession stand, buy some shit, and it's just like they think you're. I don't know. They don't give a fuck
I don't
usually,
care.
unless there's some new hire guy that wants to be a supervisor. He's like, I caught him on a camera. I got him. It's like, why were you sitting in the office watching cameras your whole shift? Because there's always those people in the world. But yeah, that's a good triple play to go with. But War of the Planet of the Apes is fucking great. I would almost recommend watch it one shot in the theater or wait and rewatch the franchise when it comes out. It's a great fucking
honestly,
franchise.
that's one of those movies that I could see. You don't have to see it in the theater. It's going to be good at home.
It's great in the theater because it's
great in the
gorgeous. You're gonna see unless
you
you have
can
a
see so much
4K
of their-
TV
yeah.
or something like that. You're not gonna
but
get
a lot
the
of
detail.
people have great TVs.
But then there's a lot of people that have great TVs but don't know how to use it, so they'll still have like shitty aspect ratio and it's stretched out and it's like looks like dog shit. There's a lot of people that don't know how to use. Let me tell you, I sold this shit for a decade.
I believe you.
You give people way too much credit.
I don't know.
Way too much credit. There's a lot of people that just are way too lazy to think. But yeah, some great movies. Christopher Nolan, great. I wouldn't mind a nomination. I don't think it's the strong enough. I mean, we haven't seen all the nomination type movies yet. The white bummers, and black bummers now, and musicals potentially. But I haven't really heard.
If you want to
anything.
get an Academy Award, make the fucking saddest bummer movie you can make, and maybe.
I mean, fucking La La Land almost won.
They're not going to get best
Almost won.
screenplay out of
They
this.
almost won. I mean, I don't know.
Not enough dialogue.
It's not best dialogue. It's best screenplay. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know what makes a strong screenplay necessarily versus a weak one. But yeah, I wouldn't imagine this one would.
Yeah.
But it is a
I
great
still
story.
say-
It's still written into a story.
Go see it.
So, yeah, for sure, go see it. Yeah, you can't really go bad going to a theater. There's a couple stinkers, but we didn't see them. So just watch all the shit we've reviewed. And while you do that, you can follow Keith on Keith Spurlock 1 on Twitter. I'm at Ray Taylor on Twitter and Instagram. You can follow the show on YouTube and Facebook. All the links are inspireddisorder.com. Don't forget to donate to the show and everything Inspired Disorder does. Patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. I have a bunch of artwork in the store, inspireddisorder.com. It's the front page, really.
Buy it.
New artwork comes out every day.
If you don't buy it, I will murder you.
Yeah, you got a lot of people to murder right now, Keith. There's also Photoshop prints, and I actually did a few Photoshops for Ari Shafir's new special, Double Negative.
This is one of them right here.
This one's one of the Photoshops. If you've seen the album artwork for the show,
That's
what it is. Oh, that's all right.
All right.
But yeah, so go check it all out. InspiredSword.com. Thank you all for watching. We're out of here. Have a great week. Peace.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast. Embedded signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.